Richician!
Hey YouTube, Dark Richician 84 here, and welcome to the penultimate part of my history series where I talk about 2022, and yes, I have had a slight haircut. Looks great, right? So yeah, this is the penultimate part. The plan was to have all the parts done in half-hour episodes originally, but since I've been talking in each part for like an hour or an hour and a half, I thought I might as well actually make it 20 parts. Kind of fitting. So, going into 2022, things kick off with Series 7 of the Dark Richician's Deck Grand Championship. Which, of course, Cybers ended up winning, once again causing an upset to Blue Eyes, finishing second for the third time. And I really thought Blue Eyes would win the whole thing that time, but no such luck. Although Dark Magician did finish third, so now it's got to that point where it's had every single rank in the top 5. And yeah, after that, my tournament challenge continued. But before that, though, I got hold of a box of Burst of Destiny, hoping to pull Destiny Hero Destroyer Phoenix Enforcer, and of course I was lucky enough to pull it. I was like, yes! So, it would be more for my hero collection, but I decided to put it in my Destiny Hero deck for the time being, which was up next in the tournament challenge, and boy did it do well. Although not so much to start off with. Yeah, I lost against Connor in round 1, who I think was still playing Tri-Brigade, I can't remember. And I did mess up against him, because I did get DP out, and it got destroyed, but I forgot to activate his effect to bring it back. So annoying. That cost me the game. Then I lost against Matt S, playing Sword Soul. Didn't really want to deal with them. I really don't like Sword Soul. It's another deck that does nothing but OTK and negate my deck, especially Baron de Fleur. Like, fuck that card. I think I did manage to play around it at one point throughout the match, but I still lost it. But things did pick up. I won against Cal, playing his Fire Warrior deck, with help from good old Destiny Hero Plasma. I think I got out Dogma as well in this match, I can't remember. But of course, the last match was what mattered. I went up against Weber's 5, and at long last things went my way. And I managed to get out both DPE and Plasma on my first turn. So I had easy means to bring out DP anyway, but I did have some other plays I could do, and I thought, hell, why not make Destiny Hero Plasma? Rather annoyingly, he did break my board though, but I didn't make it easy for him. Although I didn't use DP's effect at all on his turn, because I really wasn't sure what I should use it on. Yeah, it was tricky, just not knowing what to stop. This would be a bit costly though, because he managed to bring out Goddess of the Underworld by using DP as a material, which just threw me off. I was like, wait, what? And it went Link Summon Goddess, and I was like, how the hell did you use my monster? And then he explained that Goddess can be Link Summoned using one monster the opponent controls. And then he ran over Plasma. That was unfortunate. As if I had used DPE on something, then I might have had a chance. Then again, would Goddess have stopped? Actually, no, because DP's effect to bring back a Destiny Hero activates as soon as it's destroyed, so I might have been fine. I tried to make Dominance, well, I did make Dominance and tried to do a play to get rid of it, but he's negated Dominance's effect in Grave. And I was just like, oh no, I'm gonna scrub out again. But luckily, things turned around on my next turn. I was able to make Destiny Hero Dystopia, and luckily I had Dynatag in Grave, which I banished to give Dystopia the attack points it needed to take down Goddess. And then I proceeded to win that duel. Then in game 2, he set up some of his usual board. He had a board of Endymion, Mythical Beast Master Cerberus, and Necro Valley and Magician's Right Hand. Yeah, it was a problem, but I did have the means to get round his board. I believe I activated Destiny Draw, which got automatically negated by Magician's Right Hand. Then I normal summoned Shadow Mist and activated Super Polymerization, fusing my Shadow Mist with his Endymion to make Starving Venom Fusion Dragon, which then gained the attack points of Cerberus. Then I got a search off Shadow Mist. Now, for those wondering why I didn't do Super Poly first, it's because there's a really annoying ruling where Magician's Right Hand can negate the effect, which is an absolutely stupid ruling. Yeah, well, it can't obviously negate the activation of Super Poly, it can still negate the effect. But yeah, I'm sorry, but it's such a stupid, bullshit, unfair rule. Like, it shouldn't work like that. I mean, it just defeats the whole point of Super Poly, being that nothing can negate it. And, I mean, I know Super Poly can be annoying for some people, but, like, Super Poly's needed to help get rid of negates. And it just annoys me that Magician's Right Hand takes that away. All the same, I did manage to break through. Then I fusion summoned Destroyer Phoenix Enforcer and attacked Cerberus and then hit him directly. And then I disrupted one of his pendulum plays. He played, what was it, Magister, I think? I can't remember the name exactly, and I popped it with DPE, and then he just scooped it up, much to my delight. So yeah, at long last, I finally defeated Endymion in a match after almost 3 years of trying and failing miserably. Yeah, Destiny heroes pulled through. So with that, my goal was complete, and I went back into tournament retirement. But of course, the challenge wouldn't be over yet, so I decided to do a couple of other fun mini tournaments with Express Gaming and Gamer Central. Me and Express Gaming did a team tournament with our decks, where basically we'd use 3 decks at once, and play it out as best of 3 matches, like I explained in the last part. Like you just change decks after every duel. So I chose my 2 teams. Team Richician, which consisted of Dark Richician, Rainbow Neos, and Elemental Hero Divine Neos. Now normally Elemental Heroes would be on the team, but my Elemental Hero deck would sit this one out because I'd already used Elemental Heroes earlier in the challenge, and the other team would be Team Crystal, which normally consists of Magician Girls, Crystal Beasts, and Speedroids. But for this event, Crystal Beasts sat this one out, and I used Galaxy Photons instead. And again, although Magician Girls aren't an epic elite deck, I still wanted to win something with them. Meanwhile, Express Gaming picked his 2 teams. First was Team Destruction, which consisted of his Dark Magician deck, Blue Eyes White Dragon, and Bee Troopers. The other team would be Team Nobles, which consisted of Hands, Noble Knights, and Lunar Knights. So in round 1, our best decks went up against each other, let's see. Dark Magician was able to win against Bee Troopers, while Divine Neos managed to beat Dark Magician. So yeah, unfortunately, Blue Eyes didn't get to appear. I'm trying to think if we chose the decks randomly, or whether we just chose them ourselves. I don't know. Anyway, in the next bout, I didn't do so well. My Magician Girls lost against his Hands, and my Speedroids lost against Noble Knights, which was annoying because I started so well. I made Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon turn 1, just to try and stop Noble Knights going off. And what happens? He top decks Regeki, as usual, and wipes my field and proceeds to go off and beat me. So yeah, rather annoyingly, Galaxy Photons didn't get to play. So I'd have to go on and use Galaxy Photons in something else, as well as my Supreme Kings. I'll get to that shortly. So it was Team Richician against Team Nobles in the final. And then Rainbow Neos defeated Noble Knights. I think there was a lot of luck involved there. And Dark Richician defeated Lunar Knights. Part of my hair is driving me mad. So, yes, it was a victory for Dark Magician, Rainbow Neos, and Elemental Hero Divine Neos, tying with Red Eyes Black Dragon. And then after that, me, Express Gaming, and Gamer Central did like a Battle Royale tournament. So the idea was we'd play 3 Battle Royales with 3 different decks each, and whoever would win the most Battle Royales would win the whole thing. My decks of choice were Galaxy Photons, Supreme Kings, and Magician Girls. Gamer Central's decks of choice were Dragon Maids, Ninjas, and Dark Magician. Meanwhile, Express Gaming's were Blue Eyes, Noble Knights, and Hands. And the first one ended rather quickly, actually. Yeah, I just had a really bad hand. I was on Galaxy Photons, Express Gaming used Blue Eyes, and Gamer Central used Dragon Maid, so it was a dragon showdown, but it wasn't the best one, let's be honest. Yeah, I had a really bad hand. I mean, it was just so shit. I just couldn't do anything with it. Gamer Central didn't seem to be able to do much either, and what happened was Express Gaming OTK'd him, and I just scooped up. Like, I swear the whole thing lasted 12 minutes. Then in the second one, I used Supreme Kings, Gamer Central used Ninjas, and Express Gaming used Noble Knights. But this time he seemed to brick with his Noble Knights, which was really weird because Noble Knights don't usually brick ever. So yeah, there wasn't much he could do. So more of the action was between me and Gamer Central. Now there was one point where I got out Dark Rebellion Xyz Dragon, but it got banished by that ninjutsu trap that I hate. What was it? Ninjutsu Art of Shadow Sealing, I think it's called. So Dark Rebellion got banished, and I had a zone sealed up. But then I was actually able to bring out Supreme King Zark and wipe the field. But he was able to chain that other ninjutsu trap to cut Zark's points in half. And rather unfortunately, he had some 2100 beat stick, can't remember what it was, that I couldn't get over. But thankfully, wiping the field got rid of the Shadow Sealing trap, which allowed me to bring Dark Rebellion back, and it had the points to run over that monster. Actually, wait. How did he have a... Wait, was it... It might have been Baguska, I think, because I'm trying to think what monster he had that would have survived Zark's effect. I don't know, maybe I'll have to look back on it. But anyway, I was able to win that Battle Royale. Then in the last one, spellcaster decks were mainly used. I used Magician Girls, Gamer Central played Dark Magician, and Express Gaming played Hands. And he saw there can be only one rather quickly, much to the annoyance of me and Gamer Central, because we couldn't properly play. And there were some things we could do, but we were just limited to one spellcaster, which was incredibly frustrating. But I believe Gamer Central did get rid of it with either Dark Magical Circle or Dark Magic Attack. I can't remember. But then, of course, Express Gaming goes and activates another one. And I'm like, for fuck's sake. So basically, what I then had to do was just keep attacking Express Gaming. Now, I'm completely against ganging up and picking on someone in a royale. But I had no choice for two reasons. One, Gamer Central had Dark Magician on the field, which I had no means of getting over anyway. And B, Express Gaming was the threat. I had to go for him, and I did manage to take him out, which meant that There Can Be Only One was no longer in play. Which meant me and Gamer Central could put out all the spellcasters we wanted. Of course, this did help him out a bit too much, though, and yeah, I got overwhelmed and lost the whole thing. So we all won a battle royale each, which made it a tie. So then we played a fourth one to do a tiebreaker. Now the other two used the decks that they won with, Dark Magician and Blue Eyes respectively, and I could have used Supreme Kings, because that's what I won with, but I wanted to use my Galaxy Photons, purely because I didn't have a chance to do anything with them in the first one. Plus, they didn't get to play in the team tournament. This time I had a much better hand, and I was actually able to play. And I managed to defeat the both of them. Now, I just wonder if I would have had the same luck if I did play Supreme Kings. I'm probably not sure I would have done. I feel like I would have been wiped out unless I could survive and get Zark out and control the field with him. Of course, that being said, Blue Eyes does have several ways to out Zark. But who knows for sure. Let's see what happened after that. Yeah, I believe after that was when Emma came to visit and stay with me for a week. And she came along with me to Express Gaming and Gamer Central's place. And we played Yu-Gi-Oh! Mad Libs and Pool. Although we only got one game of Yu-Gi-Oh! In, which was kind of disappointing. I would have liked to have more games, but it was fine. It was still a fun day. And then the following day, we met up with the three original Maxes, Billsy, Amaxo and Marley, and did trades and played Yu-Gi-Oh! Then I took her along to a game night, and she actually joined in with an 8-person battle royale. I let her borrow my magician girls because I thought they'd be quite easy to play, but I'd have to basically help her. Now, of course, normally we don't do team-ups because we banned team-ups from Warhouse because it's technically a form of ganging up, but we made an exception for Emma and Rowan, Brian's eventual other half, who was playing Red Eyes. Meanwhile, I was playing Dark Richician. Brian used Ancient Gears. Dan used Cyverse. Ethan played Arcana Knights, Poker Knights, sorry. Cookie played Jinzo, and George played Rockets. This was quite silly, at least to start off with. As Brian and Rowan thought it would be funny to mess around and make cake jokes, which was driving Cookie crazy. And then, in all the madness that happened in that game, half the players ended up scooping, as they lost their boards and couldn't pick up momentum. I think Dan scooped up first, despite the strong board he started with. Actually, no. George got taken out immediately before the others scooped. I think Brian defeated him in one turn. Then everyone started scooping, starting with Dan, then Brian and Rowan. So there were just 4 of us left, and I did something to break Cookie's board, and then he ended up scooping, which just left the 3 of us left. Then Ethan defeated me, but Emma defeated Ethan. So yeah, not bad for a returning player. And then afterwards, I decided to start making decks for her. As you may have guessed, she wanted to get back into the game, so I'd help her learn her the new rules and summoning mechanics that have come about since 2012. I would go on to make 5 different decks for her. Some that she was familiar with, some because they looked cute. The decks, of course, being Melfi's, her favourite and signature deck, Light Swans, which is her best deck, if not one of them, Magician Girls, Karibo, and Fortune Fairies. She had some practice with Karibo, but needs a bit more before having games on camera with them. And of course, she still has yet to learn how to play the Fortune Fairies. But yeah, speaking of decks, there was a point where I stopped doing deck profiles because too many people on YouTube were just pissing me off. Either just insulting certain decks for no reason, or giving me shit for hating Dragoon and refusing to play him. Like one person said about my Magician of Chaos deck, lol, this is bricky as fuck. And in my deck building challenge video, where I was building Melfi's, someone said, this deck is so bad, I want to bleach my eyes out. Like, I mean, are comments like this really necessary? I don't think so. It's just completely uncalled for. And who the hell hates on Melfies anyway? Like, they're cute and adorable and a cool fun deck to play. No one has any right to insult them. And one thing I will say is not everyone has to do things the same way as everyone else. And furthermore, it was a deck building challenge video. Like, the whole point of my deck building challenge series is to build a deck that I've never played before and build it in the best way I can think of. And of course, I'm not going to get it right every single time. And then of course there was the Dragoon abuse. Yeah, I just got really annoyed and had enough and just stopped doing them, much to the disappointment of some of my subscribers. But after some thought, I did change my mind and give them another go. Yeah, on a more positive note, my channel's 15th anniversary was coming up and I was trying to think what to do to celebrate. And I ended up doing two things actually. One was where I'd open 15 random packs. Didn't pull too great from them, but it was still fun. But even better, I made another movie. I enjoyed doing the Halloween movie and it was a success, so I decided to do another one. And I thought I'd base it around time travel and sort of get inspiration from my favourite Yu-Gi-Oh movie, Bonds Beyond Time. And I guess the villain, the cyborg, would basically kind of be a parody of the Terminator, basically. That's what I thought of it as. And I thought I'd create a storyline where I'd bring in two past versions of myself. I thought I'd bring in my 2007 self and my 2011 self, and have my old school elemental hero and legendary hero decks thrown in. But again, I didn't do the duels as a scripted one. Again, I did it over Edo Pro, because I couldn't think how else to do it at the time. So, yeah, just like the previous movie, all the duels were unscripted, but I wanted to make it so that all the well-known cards in my decks would see play, and I made sort of a legacy Dark Richician deck where I'd throw in cards that I played in my Dark Richician deck over the years. But yeah, I was able to make it work. It then set up for a sequel, the big sequel that me, Emma, Express Gaming and Weber's 5 are still working on. So yeah, the ending basically hinted at it and would see the return of the demon. Now, I'm not going to give too much away about the big sequel movie, but you know, it is hinted that both villains will be returning. So yeah, that was great and a whole bunch of fun. Let's see. After that, I was working on getting cards from Ghosts from the Past 2, which was near impossible. Eventually I did, but it cost a lot. And also along the way, Sword Soul got banned from Dead Universe Comics Raw Rumbles. A Sword Soul player brought them in and just negated everything the other players did, and like we just couldn't fucking do anything. Although there was something I could have done, but I made a huge misplay. Yeah, that's all there is to say about it, really. Then Justice June came about, where I celebrated, was it 16 years since I started playing my Elemental Hero deck. But of course I didn't have many games though, because rather annoyingly, halfway through June, I somehow got COVID. And basically I couldn't go to work, and I couldn't go out and socialise, and or go to game night, obviously. Yeah, I was so annoyed and down in the dumps. Yeah, wasn't even too sure how it happened. Because earlier in that week before I tested positive, I was suffering from hay fever. So it's theorised that hay fever must have weakened my immune system, and then I caught COVID, and then symptoms started showing up at the weekend, where I woke up with a banging headache. Then later on I started coughing a lot. Then I did a test, and of course tested positive. Then I just ended up feeling in a really bad way. I had the most painful headache ever, and my body temperature kept fluctuating between hot and cold. My body just couldn't make up its mind with the temperature, but it's said that if that happens, it's my body trying to fight the virus. And I hallucinated when I tried to sleep. I did feel a bit better the following day, although it was just basically sneezing and coughing, like, throughout the rest of the time that I had COVID. Like, I was really hoping it would be gone by the time my birthday came about, but no such luck. Still had it, and my PC malfunctioned, which of course made it the worst birthday since my birthday from 11 years previously, when Porch Pigeon for Life split up. But then, a few days later, I finally recovered and tested negative, and celebrated by going off to game night, and had some great games. Yeah, I had a game where I played my Yugi deck against James's Goat Format Zork deck and managed to win. Then I had a game against Weber's Five's Odd Eyes deck with my Dark Richician deck, making it an Ace Monster Showdown. So yeah, by that point, Odd Eyes got a load of new support from Dimension Force, and yeah, it was a tough match. We both put up a really good fight against each other, but in the end, Dark Magician prevailed. And then I had a few games against George, mainly with hero decks. Actually, this was just round about the 8th of June, so I was kind of able to celebrate Justice June still, despite COVID ruining my plans. Also, at some point during this year, Brandon, the Starlight William Magician, asked if he could join the team. Yeah, we agreed to let him join, therefore bringing our members up to 5. And we were also considering letting Emma join the team as well, which of course she did either later on in that year, or maybe it was earlier this year. And Weber's 5 even made her a playmat with rabbit monsters, because she loves rabbits, including Vanilla and Rescue Rabbit, and Milfy Rabby. Let's see. I guess not much happened throughout this time. Well, except one thing a bit earlier that year, where my Magician Girls won a Royal Rumble. So yeah, they finally did win something. And I had to beat Brian's Light Swans to do it. So yeah, great stuff all around. Then of course Crystal Beasts ended up getting a structure deck, and I picked up 2 of them and used the support from that to upgrade my Crystal Beast deck. I also picked up a single Fallen of Albaz structure deck, because I was given the idea of playing Fallen of Albaz, Branded Fusion, Albion and the Light Hex Sealed Fusion in my Dark Magician deck as an easy way to bring out Dark Magician the Dragon Knight. So that's what I did, and did use that engine for a while, until a bit earlier this year. Now, other Dark Magician players would of course use it as an easy way to bring out Red Eye's Dark Dragoon, but obviously I wasn't going to do that. Then I got all of Emma's decks finished, and we finally had games with each other. And I'd just help her learn one deck at a time, just to make things easier and not overwhelm her. And our first games we had weren't recorded, obviously, as I said that I wouldn't record any games until you fully learned how to use each deck. And of course she mastered Melfi's first, followed by Light Swans. I'd even use some of her decks as well, just so we could both learn them that way and get an idea of how they worked. I mean, I was kind of reluctant to play Light Swans, considering that they brought me a lot of bad luck in the past, and I just hated them because they clearly hate me and Dark Magician. But I did it anyway, and obviously the deck works very well. And like I keep saying, I'll still use Light Swans in both my Light Ray and Legendary Knights decks, but only because, only for the necessity, because without Light Swans the decks just don't work very well. Anyway, so yeah, she got the hang of those, and we started having filmed games with each other. But somehow these games would end up taking a while. I don't know why our games always take so long. Even one game ends up lasting either half an hour or almost an hour. And some of them just end up being best of one games. Of course, to be fair though, like there's still things about her decks that she's still trying to learn and get the hang of other strategies, along with the fact that she doesn't get to play as much as I do. Like, she only ever plays when either I go and visit her or she comes to visit me, and there's currently no one else for her to play against at the moment. Who knows, maybe that will change so that she can use her Trap Tricks deck against someone that's not me. And yeah, for those who don't know, she decided she wants to make Trap Tricks like earlier this year, as well as Pearlies. I think also some point last year she decided she wanted to play a past format Chaos Dragon deck, which we're still working on. So yeah, that was that. After that, some more annoying stuff happened regarding my Dark Magician deck profiles. Like, despite telling people that I won't play Dragoon and to stop people going on about Dragoon, like, no one was listening to me or respecting my wishes. Yeah, someone said, this dude's still crying over Dragoon, which was really uncalled for. So I was like, for fuck's sake, that's it, I'm not doing this anymore. So again, I stopped doing deck profiles, and I disabled the comments on all my Dark Magician deck profiles, because I figured it was the only way to stop people giving me shit over him. Along with the fact that I was ended up considering quitting current format Yu-Gi-Oh! Because of this bullshit, along with the fact that people kept trying to play decks against me that I hate and don't want to play against. There were objections to me stopping doing deck profiles again. But of course I ignored these objections, because yeah, one of my big pet peeves, as you guys know already, is that is people not respecting my wishes and decisions. But after a few days though, I did change my mind again and give deck profiles another chance. But I still had comments disabled for my Dark Magician deck profiles, Um, so yeah, that was that. After that, Team Sorcerer's third anniversary came about, so all 5 members actually hung out with each other in mid-November, and we played out 4 battle royales, and Weber's 5 won every single one of them with Endymion, then Draco Slayer, then Odd Eyes, and then Plunder Patrol. Yeah, the first and third battle royals were particularly annoying, as I thought I had it won. I made Master of Chaos, cleared his board, and I thought I had game, but then it was revealed that Performer Pal Sky Magician had an effect that stated that when it left the field it got to destroy a card, and my Master of Chaos got popped. Oh shit, the support is something I forgot to mention. I'll backtrack to that in a minute. And then he proceeded to win the whole thing. That was so annoying. I got robbed of victory. Like, I thought I could finally defeat Endymion with Dark Magician, and then that happens. Then in the other one, the second one, there can be only one, caused a load of problems. And I was playing my deck of cards, and I didn't think it would hurt it that much, but it did. And then in the third one, Express Gaming should have won, as he had so many opportunities to take Weber's 5 out, which would have meant that someone else could have a chance at winning a battle royal, but he didn't take any opportunities. There were things he could have and should have done, but ended up doing the opposite. And then in the other one, his Plunder Patrols beat the lot of us, which was annoying because I was using my Speedroids, which was the only deck I had that could actually stand a chance of beating Plunder Patrols, but it didn't. And I was like, yeah, can beat it with a wind deck, my arse. But then again, Gamer Central and Starlight William Magician were using some mixed attribute decks, which I guess didn't help things. There were a couple of three-way battle wars that happened afterwards between me, Gamer Central, and Brandon. One was a Dark Richician free-for-all, which I won, and in the other one I used Jinzo. Gamer Central used Exodia, but I don't remember what Starlight William Magician played in that one. I kind of felt bad using Jinzo against Exodia, but I only used it because I think it was the only deck that I didn't use that day, well, except for Rainbow Neos. I didn't use Rainbow Neos at all that day, I don't think. Oh yeah, I forgot to say what I was playing in the same war where Weber's 5 used his Odd Eyes deck. It was Crystal Beasts. And yeah, he took me out in such a mean, disrespectful way. Like, I was close to making a comeback, but he fusion summoned Performer Pal Gatling Ghoul used its burn effect, then used its bonus effect to destroy Rainbow Dragon and wipe out my life points. I was not impressed. But at least I wasn't done in by Odd Eye's Vortex Dragon. I mean, I'm thankful for that. I mean, I don't hate Performer Pal Gatling Ghoul. I mean, why would I? I used it myself in my Yuya deck and my Dimension Dragon deck, but that was just rude all the same. But yeah, going back to the Dark Magician support, I can't believe I forgot to mention this, but near enough at the start of the year, Battle of Chaos came out, which brought us support for both Dark Magician and Blue Eyes, plus Nordics and Vampires got support as well, which was really cool. And I got a case because, yeah, I wanted the Dark Magician support that badly. So this time it was a case that I could have all to myself. So I was hoping to pull all the support cards I wanted, as well as the Bandai Art Dark Magician. Yeah, and I was hoping I'd pull it, because if I didn't, I'd have to spend almost $1,000 just to get it. Yeah, that's how much it was. I don't know what it's at now, whereas the case was about £600. But of course, the luck was on my side. I actually managed to pull the Bandai Art Dark Magician, and I was like, yes! And I immediately sleeved it up. And then I got all the Dark Magician support cards I wanted, but I only pulled 2 copies of Illusion of Chaos, which was the hardest one to get. I was hoping to get a playset at least, plus a 4th copy for collection. I didn't think I'd get 4, but it was unfortunate that I didn't get 3. I did pick up 2 others eventually, although rather typically nowadays I only play 2 copies in my Dark Magician deck. But I do still have that 3rd one, should I need to put it in. Yeah, it was great. Again, it was a really fantastic case opening. And I remember Express Gaming saying that the good luck he had getting the Starlight Stardust Dragon was passed on to me. So yeah, he was happy for me, and so was Emma. It was a good day, for sure. Except when I found out that, as I was video editing, the audio was out of sync for most of that video. That just really annoyed me. Didn't understand how that happened. Mind you, I was having some battery issues with my recording devices. I wish I'd sorted those out beforehand, but oh well. But at least the audio didn't go out of sync when I pulled that Dark Magician. Yeah, I always seem to have good luck with case openings, even though I only opened 2, like in my entire Yu-Gi-Oh life. The Legendary Duelist 6 one and the Battle of Chaos one. To be honest, I don't know if I'll ever get any other cases for sets, but we'll see. Anyway, going back to November, I then decided to set myself another goal and challenge. I decided to make another temporary comeback to tournaments for 2 reasons. One, to troll Tearlaments with Penguin Knight, and the other one to defeat Weber's Five's Endymion deck with Dark Magician, once and for all. Because obviously, besides that endurance from 2019, Dark Magician has never ever been able to beat Endymion. And like I said, I'd always get 2-0'd by it, which was frustrating, along with the fact that I was robbed of victory in that first battle royale. So I just really wanted my signature deck to defeat Weber's 5 signature deck once and for all. Yes, I did defeat it earlier in the year with Destiny Heroes, but it wasn't with Dark Magician, and that's what I was aiming for. But of course, I'd have terrible luck in tournaments around about that time, like winning hardly any games. Where I'd be losing to the meta pretty much. In fact, in the first one back, Jude banished my Dark Magician with Sword Soul Chenyi, which I wasn't happy about, and I wanted vengeance. But I didn't get it in the rest of that match, or the following time I'd face him. Also, Bestials proved to be a really annoying problem as well. Now, I did play against a Tier Limits deck that day, but I never got to use Penguin Knight. Now, I did also have Neko Main King, which is better, but of course I never got a chance to use either of them. I believe I did win against Ethan that day, who was playing Agents. It was either... Oh no, that would have been the following tournament. So what was my win against that day? I can't remember for sure. But then in the following one, I had a rematch with Jude. Oh, and he was playing the Naturias at the time, and I was looking for revenge, but didn't get it. Oh, and I was playing a different variant of Dark Magician, which of course was Dark Magician and Fusion Friends, where I was running Rainbow Neos, Neos Rainbow Dragon, Neos Fusion, and I was also running DPE, and of course ran Fusion Destiny, and Destiny Heroes, Celestial and Dasher. But I didn't get to use it that much though. And I also had Keeper of Dragon Magic, Super Poly, Starving Venom Fusion Dragon, and Predaplant's Trip and Dracostapelia on hand as well. And then I lost against Damien with Goatees, and I hadn't gone up against them before, but I may have underestimated them. They proved to be so fucking annoying, as they just do too many things on my turn and have so many cheap shot banish effects. And I got denied from going for game. Yeah, that was annoying. Then I went up against Ethan playing Agents, and I won against him. So that was my one and only win that evening. But it could have been 2 if I hadn't messed up in the following match. I went up against Billsy playing Ashizu Tears. So yeah, finally got the match up again. And I won against him game 1, mainly thanks to Rainbow Neos. And then in game 2, though, I was finally able to use Penguin Knight against him. It got milled, and I was like, yes! Penguin Knight's effect. My entire graveyard goes back to my deck. And yeah, that just completely threw him off. Then afterwards, I just completely messed up against him. So I made DPE, and he used Dracostapelia's effect, and I didn't think to use DPE's effect. Yeah, I guess in the heat of the moment, I forgot that it was a quick effect. I just don't know how that happened, but if I hadn't have, if I'd remembered, I could have used DP to destroy itself and something else, and then I would have been able to pick off his field one by one with DP, and I could have potentially won the match, but no, I didn't. And if that wasn't bad enough, he banished my Dark Magician with a Bestial, which I wasn't happy about, so I vowed to get revenge on him as well. And then in the tournament after that, I used Dark Magician Kaiju mode because I thought it would help a lot, especially when it comes to anything with a negate, but yeah, that didn't happen, and I just struggled big time. Yeah, I lost against Hisham playing a Thunder Dragon Bestial deck, and then rather annoyingly I lost against a Weber's 5 with Endymion. So yeah, finally got pitted against him, but wasn't able to do much. I was even main decking Inspector Border as well, just to specifically counter a load of tough decks, but the problem was it didn't really do much against him, because he went first and had quite a strong board, and he did have a Pendulum and a Link in play, which meant he could only activate 2 monster effects, and you know, I tried to play round his board, and I was sort of able to do something, but not as much as I would have liked. And then lost the whole thing. And then I was doing alright in the other game. I got a Kaiju on both sides of the field, I think, and time on the round was running out, so I was trying to at least go for a draw somehow. I even had Dimension Barrier set and even successfully activated it and declared Pendulum, and yet I still ended up losing, because he was still able to Link Climb into Access Code Talker, pop some cards, and even though I didn't get gamed, his life points were higher. That was just absolute bullshit. Then I went up against Sam, playing Branded, and I managed to win against him 2-1, mainly thanks to end of match procedure. Then I went up against Billsy and was looking to get revenge for Dark Magician getting banished, but I wasn't able to pull it off. I just really struggled. In fact, and in game 2, I was sitting behind Dark Magician and Dragon Knight, which I kept bringing back, but I couldn't overcome any of his monsters. I just wasn't drawing anything that could help me get rid of them. And then the Dragon Knight got destroyed, and it got returned to my deck through one of the Ishizu cards, which put me in a bad spot. And then I just lost it. So, yeah, rather annoyingly, couldn't get revenge. I mean, I did have the means to get round his board, but like I said, I just didn't draw the out, so I put that down to bad luck more than anything. And that was pretty much it for 2022. So the challenge would continue into 2023. So yeah, trolling Tears with Penguin Knights. That mission was accomplished, but I was still aiming to defeat Endymion with Dark Magician, as well as get revenge on Billsy and Jude for banishing Dark Magician. But yes, there'll be more on that in the final part of this series. Thanks for watching. Thank you very much for watching. Be sure to subscribe to the Dark Richician YouTube channel.